How do everybody? Paul Clark here, SMP Innovator. I'm here today to talk to you about a really big topic actually. Jeff has kindly gave me the topic of the industry of SMP. So, where do you start with when you talk about the industry of SMP really? It's a crazy world we live in with this SMP game, but very rewarding. So I said to myself, I've been around the block now a few times, and I was just thinking, the best way I can talk about the industry is do like kind of like a Scrooge thing. You go the past, the present, and the future. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about today, guys. Hope you find it insightful and interesting. Just a little few fun facts in there which might you not have known. So. And just bear with me, I'm doing this around while the kids are in bed and having bath times and stuff like that. So if you hear screaming in the background, just bear with me. But I just want to give a shout out to Jeff and Masood and all the SMP EXPO team. I wish I could be there, but maybe in the future I can party with you guys. You know, the place looks amazing, so I bet you guys are having an awesome time. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's go to the past of where SMP. Now, not many people know where the true history comes from SMP. And back in the day, it was actually called MHT. So that stood for Micro Hair Technique. I was actually in the room at the time. It was about 2013. We had a meeting about changing MHT because Micro Hair Technique, people were getting confused. And assumed that the micro hair technique was actually implanting micro hairs. So we had to go back to the drawing board and come up with the term SMP, scalp micropigmentation, which we all use to this day. And I was in that meeting and we all voted on SMP. So that's a little bit where it started from. But yes, so we'll go back to 2010. Now, there was a guy called Ian Watson who came up with a technique of colouring the scalp to try and make it look like a shaved head. He'd been doing it a couple of years before then, and then I crossed paths with Ian, and he learned about my tattoo background. He learned about my artistic background as well, and he really wanted to pick my brains about how he could turn this treatment into something more realistic. So I met up with him and he started showing me a lot of models, what he treated. And, you know, even though everything has to start from somewhere, at first I was quite impressed. And then I started asking for like close-up pictures. And I could see that that's where the treatment was lacking. When at afar it looked like just a shaved head. But when you got up close, this is when the detail was completely gone. And some of you guys may have tattoos, but it kind of looks similar to that. So the technique back in the day was 2 sessions, and the idea was bombard it with as much density as possible, and completely go to darkness straight away. Not even like worrying about what the skin will do or how it will hold the treatment. It was about kind of getting in and getting out. Well, for me, that doesn't go with my kind of methods of how I do this. I've come from a very heavily art educated background. I was once a tattoo apprentice. I've always been doing art. I'm still doing art to this day. So for me, that was the wrong logic straight away. So I started talking to him about what I think he should be focusing on, and he loved what I had to say, and then he took me on as one of his first full-time employees. So I was promised 3 weeks training. Unfortunately, I got about 2 hours. Yeah, got about 2 hours in about 2 weeks. And I was watching the treatments being done, and I just had to learn what they were doing so I can adapt with it. And my training wasn't very good. It wasn't good standard at all. And to the point where I was left in the clinic by myself to do nothing really, no guidance. And that's when I said to myself, I'm going to start coming up with my own technique. I can't be just sitting around doing nothing. So that's when I started getting bananas. This is why a lot of people practice on bananas this day. That's where that all came from, bananas, melon work. And I started just kind of opening the density to start off with, and timed how long that took, what it looked like, kind of put my mindset in the perspective of what the client would be wanting from a first session as well. And really, it was simple logic for me. When I do drawing at home or anywhere, I don't go with a thick line pen or pencil straight away. I get a faint pencil and then I sketch it all out. So this is kind of the logic what I started getting at. So I was thinking, right, forget about bombarding darkness, bombarding density. Let's do something where it's safe, the client can see progression, but also the practitioner is not making no mistakes. So for me, I started going, right, light colours to start off with, because we're working with a canvas that you cannot predict. So, you know, light colours on certain skin tones and skin textures can hold really dark. So I thought, right, let's start going lighter and a nice open density. And as I mentioned, I played around with densities and I finally found this perfect density for the first session. And it's been kind of coined as the one needle gap. So it's that kind of spacing where on the next session, when you add in between all this, you start getting a better connective treatment and a more realistic texture. So yeah, so fast forward a little bit, I came up with that 3-step process. I told Ian at the time, I've got this new technique, I would love to show him. He said to me, yep, go for it, but if it doesn't work out, you're paying for laser. And I was like, yep. Let's go for it. I accept that. Let's do it. I was confident that what I was going to do was going to work. So he gave me a client. Fast forward 3 weeks later, I show him the results, and he just saw it straight away, and he was like, "Yeah, you are training everybody now. Anybody who comes in this clinic now and future practitioners, you're training them." So that's when I felt really great about that moment. Like I'm always a bit of like an innovative mind and quite a creative mindset. So I always want to be doing something and creating something, and if I can make it even better. So and then what followed was a bit of a whirlwind. I found myself in a position where I was doing treatments. I took over as the lead practitioner and head of training. I had a ghostwriter sitting in the corner of my room asking me every single question that was known to mankind about what I did, how you do it, why this, why that. And in the end, the ghostwriter was typing away, and I was, it wasn't very professional, I'll be honest, having someone talking to me while I'm doing treatments, not the best scenario, but the guys were so keen to get a manual out there and this new method out there, they just like, yeah, screw it, let's just do it. So in the end, this ghostwriter, through my words and explain how I did the treatment, became the world's first SMP manual. And I kid you not, the manual was, I don't know how perspective, but next to my head, about that thick. It was a massive ring binder. Barely the rings could even attach to it. It was so in-depth, and this booklet had a really big impact with artists who are great and world-renowned to this day. A lot of people will know the clinic I'm talking about. I won't mention them because I don't think they deserve a mention. But at the end of the day, trainees came through that way. They learned from my methods, they learned from my manual. And this 3-step process is where it is today. It's tried and tested. I'll be 12 in SMP years this October. I still love this, but I just love the fact that SMP is just getting better and stronger. And for me, it's great to see that people are using my 3-step method around the world, and people making it their own and creating amazing results for clients, because that's all it's about at the end of the day, making people feel great about themselves. So that's a quick version of the history of SMP. What happened then was I wanted to innovate and push a bit more. I wasn't happy with the hairlines. Back then we was kind of under a thumb a little bit, where the only two styles were really defined boxed hairlines or slightly broken. I mean, like minuscule broken. For me, I wasn't happy with that. So I started playing around with textures again, spacing, trial and error. I was printing pictures of David Beckham's hairline, loads of shaved heads, kind of replicating it, and then really going to town. I'm just trying to figure out how I can make this even better. I performed that hairline on one of the practitioners, who shown it off the next day, and the client saw that hairline and he was like, whatever that hairline is, I want that hairline. I've never seen a hairline like that before. So this was the start of, yet again, the innovation of SMP and the hairlines and how the hairlines progressed. So when that jagged, we coined it the jagged hairline back then. What we noticed from that jagged hairline and the forums and the online forums, people talking about it, the clinic at the time must have had easily about 75%, 80% of its clientele come back and have this new jagged hairline. So from moving on, since the hairline designs, I've kind of come up with the jagged hairline. We've come up with the feathered hairline. There's the shadow hairline, which is like a really faint shadow, which creates a hairline but not really a hairline for people who want to still look balding but have some kind of tone there. And what I'm really getting at is it was just innovation. We was open to do new stuff now, because I proved the guy wrong about how I can change this and make it better. He just kind of was like, right, yeah, just keep on pushing and keep on pushing. So this is how SMP started getting really popular in the UK. As soon as these new hairlines came out, you started getting a difference of clientele. You're getting more professional judges, solicitors, people who didn't think that they could get away with SMP because they thought there was only that straight hairline or slightly broken, was now seeing there's different textures of hairlines. So back then as well, regarding of the work environment, it wasn't a nice place. It was one of them places where it was a new technique, and it was almost like a race to whoever could be the best at doing SMP. Like I said, there's the kids, so bear with me 2 seconds. I told you kids are going to interrupt. I gave you the heads up. So take two. So, like I was saying, back in the day, it wasn't the best of places. Everybody kind of wanted to be known as the top gun and, you know, the best and stuff. And, you know, some people who I was actually working with were willing to screw people's careers over this, to stand out, to eliminate any competition. And it was very dog eat dog. Like, no one was willing to share techniques, like ideas, anything like that. It was just very much like, stop copying my homework kind of thing. And yeah, and then companies, hair transplant companies, wanted to know more about my technique, and we had to be careful because there was a few business deals went south, and they managed to get the booklet. So now my technique was kind of being leaked out there. So we had to be really careful back then, and that was kind of the playing field. But for me, with the practitioners I kind of trained, for me it was all about pushing them to be better artists. The way I saw this is, it wasn't just a me thing on this, I've got to be here, I've got to be on top. I look at this as an industry what I wanted to have a long career in, and change my life and change other people's lives and make people feel better about themselves. And I need other artists performing and doing great treatments. So I was compelled to share my secrets, my tips, so I can bring them up as artists, and all together push this industry forward and show the world how amazing SMP really is, and it become the best hair loss solution. So that was my method. Like, I always wanted to help people and help my colleagues, and no matter what they tried to do to me, I could see the bigger picture, which is the industry, and we had to fight, because at the end of the day, people saw this as a tattoo on the head, and some high professional people didn't like the idea of that. So we had to really, I had to really bring up my artists, teaching them these new skill sets, so everybody could see that, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. These artists know exactly what they're doing. They're replicating a shaved head with a tattoo technique, and the feedback from the forums is people are fooling everybody all around the world. So yeah, so that's kind of the history of how SMP started. Brief history. I've only got 20 minutes, I think Jeff said, or 30 minutes. So, so brief history of SMP, a bit of the innovation and how that propelled the world of SMP into being taken more seriously. So welcome to the present day of SMP, where you guys all now sitting in a conference room at an SMP EXPO event, sharing ideas, thoughts and knowledge. This is where I always wanted SMP to go. It's amazing that these events around the world are popping up now, and we're all having the opportunity to meet each other, see the person beyond the great treatments. The platforms like Instagram and Facebook, not Facebook, nah, don't like Facebook, but Instagram is an amazing place for artists. And I would say from about 2015, 16, when Instagram for me really took off, is that I was starting to meet different artists around the world. And my mindset, what I had back in the day, seemed like it wasn't the right mindset back then, because it seemed like it was a dog-eat-dog world. But my mindset was more set for the present day, which is about openness, collaboration, helping individuals and sharing knowledge. And now with these events around the world, SMP EXPO, Scalp Show, Meeting of Minds, it allows these walls to be broken down between artists and get to meet a real human being and see their passion and see their willingness to push the industry forward as well. And this is what we need. We need people like ourselves collectively talking about our new findings, trying out new things, needles, pigments, you name it, techniques. You know, some people out there now in the audience have done this flick technique. This is the sort of groundbreaking stuff that we need to be doing and talking about it as well. So I'm so glad that from the past, I don't know, let's not face it, it's not all roses and Disney songs out there. I know some people are not willing to share information to this day, but for me personally, I feel like the tide has changed with that. I feel like more people are willing to talk and share their findings. So I think regarding the present day, there couldn't be a better time to get into the SMP. The amount of knowledge what's been stored up and built up and written down, and then you got all these great artists trying new things and pushing the boundaries. It's a good place to be in regarding the SMP world. I have many friends of SMP friends, but I actually just call them friends now. People have reached out to me, you know. It's amazing how this industry is getting better and better. So regarding the present, I think what we're doing is talking, showing, demonstrating, having this social media presence, showing the world now, look how awesome we are compared to back in 2010. I'll be honest, I look back at my work in 2010, I know it's not better than the work what I do now. I'm definitely way better artist, but you have to all start somewhere. And I can see now, the present day, we are all banging the same drum. We are wanting to push this industry forward, and we want people to recognise how awesome SMP is and how life-changing it is for people. So yeah, right on everybody in that audience. You know, anybody who's willing to share information and talk at these events, do so. have a few bevies at the bar. If you feel like someone's got some good secrets, give them a few tequilas and see if they loosen up a little bit. But yeah, the way we should be doing this is by talking and collaborating. So you're probably all getting a little bit bored now of hearing me talk. I'm not in no fancy kind of setup here. I've got no fancy graphics. It's just me, a dad, trying to do this presentation around 2 screaming kids. So thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. We're on the last part now, the future. What does the future hold? Now, I have a few theories, and if someone can make a pigment that has texture, we're all going to be laughing. But I'm not going to hold my breath, but if someone out there can make a pigment that has a bit of a bumpiness to it, that would be awesome. Or pigment that can grow. But I think we're a bit too premature for that just yet. So where are we now with the future of SMP? Where are we heading to as an industry? Now, what I find fascinating about the future of SMP is that SMP itself hasn't had its boom. And what I mean by that is, there's a guy in the UK, footballer, Wayne Rooney, had a hair transplant. As soon as that A-lister celebrity, sports personality, had a procedure done, and he came out and said, I've had it done, I don't care what people think of me, I've had this done, so what? The whole world knew about hair transplants. The UK went mental about hair transplants. And still, that was such a long time ago that footballer had that hair transplant as well. And hair transplants to this day in the UK are still a big industry, and a lot of people are getting it done. And we all have our personal opinions about hair transplants, but still, you can't deny that is a massive, massive industry and a thriving industry. So what I'm getting at is that I think if an A-lister celebrity or someone in the public eye, quite well known, I'm looking at you, Rock, hit me up, man, hit me up. It'll be a freebie, all sessions, all your top-ups for free, Rock, okay? Just in case you're watching. Sorry, Jeff, I just want to put that out there, okay? I'll go give myself something as well. But anyway, if an A-lister celebrity gets this done and shows the world that he's had it done or she's had it done and they're proud of it, and that artist has done a great job, man, we are all going to reap the benefits of that. 100%. Especially if it looks realistic as well. If it looks bad, maybe we'll have to fight a little bit and we have to show the world how good we are again. But regardless, if it's a really great treatment, which I'm sure it will be, then the SMP industry is only going to thrive because the world's going to see it. They're going to see it on that celebrity. They're going to see he or she are going to be rocking this SMP, and people are going to look at it and believe in the product, believe in the treatment. Then the world will have SMP on the edge of their lips and tongues. They will be talking about SMP. And then what will happen naturally from that is people will research SMP. Now, guys and girls and people of all the industry, marketing, whoever in part of the SMP world, we need to get together, okay? Everybody needs to be looking professional. We need to be treating people with good ethics, treating people how you want to be treated, and giving everybody our best treatment. You know, you're only as good as your last treatment. For myself, I always feel like I'm in competition with myself. I'm not in competition with anybody else. I don't delve down. I don't work like that. I'm always in competition with myself. My next job has to be amazing. If I start letting slip, people will see. And I'm not willing to do that to myself. I've worked too damn hard. And I love what I do, and I want to keep on helping people. So we all got to keep on having that fire burning. And when people research us all, they're going to be seeing some professional, life-changing, and something that people are going to take seriously and go, yo, SMP, let's just say it, is the best hair loss solution, right? Guaranteed results, guaranteed realism, you know, minimal top-ups, instant like results. I think I've said that twice, but so good. Mention it again. Instant results straight away. So yes, we all need to be working together. Like I said in a little bit ago, we need to be working together, pushing this industry forward. Be ready for the boom, because the boom's coming, people, and you want to be looking good and professional, and your treatments need to be speaking volumes so people believe in the product. So yes, the future is looking bright. I'm worried about how much time we got, but yeah, the future as well is about collaboration. It'd be great to see people start teaming up, showing the world how they can do things. We're doing this, you know, putting aside the money aspect of it, more like the industry aspect. We're all looking out for each other, and that's what we need to do. We need to be all pumping out amazing work, looking professional, doing it safely, so when that boom happens, we look awesome. Okay? Right, I feel like I've taken enough of your time, and I feel like I'm on borrowed time as well, because I'm pretty sure the kids will probably be coming out the bath, screaming their heads off at the moment. So I just want to say thank you, Jeff, Masood, and the SMP EXPO team for having me through the virtual screen of what we're on right now. I wish I could be there. But thank you for giving me the time to talk about the past, the present, and the future. I hope some of you guys are still awake. So if you're still awake, appreciate it. If you're asleep, I get it. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And if any of you guys want to hit me up on Instagram and ask any more questions about the past and stuff, just give my page, Paul Clark, SMP Innovator, a follow. And happy to talk and happy to share ideas. And if you're worried about anything or you would need some guidance on any of your work, I'm happy to point out some. I'm just happy to help, basically. Look, like I said, I want to help people and push this industry forward so we can all thrive and our clients can benefit from. Right, I'm going to shut up now. Right, guys, have a great night. Enjoy the party, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks again. Stay safe, and yeah, see you later. Bye.